Okay, so today I want to talk about deja vu. So, my take on deja vu is when deja vu's happening and you are now someplace that you've never been in your life and you know exactly what you're going to come upon, and the whole scene plays out and you're sitting there going, no, wait a second, I think I already did this before and I know exactly what's going to happen. To me, that is time jumping into another parallel dimension. Time jumping backwards because you've already been through this, you already know the outcome, and you know exactly where you're going. Case in point, traveling to Florida during COVID by myself. The road that I was on, they were doing major construction. I was the only car. Everybody else, well, they were all tractor trailer drivers, and there were not that many. The road shifted, and it took me to a town in Virginia, Northern Virginia, that I've never been in my life. So I made a phone call to my daughter and said, look, I'm lost. I need a hotel. I'm tired. She gives me a hotel. I get there. I knew exactly where I was. I've never been there before. So I saw everything. I knew where the restaurants were. I knew where the gas stations were. I knew where everything was. And I'm sitting there going, I've done this before. How could I have done this before? I've never been to this town. That to me is time hopping backwards into a different dimension. So I think I was in a parallel dimension, time ahead. And then when that happened, it brought me back. So I think every instance of deja vu, we've actually experienced, and we know firsthand because we were time hopping and in a different dimension. So that's my take on deja vu. Other people say, oh, well, it's just your mind playing tricks on you. No, when you can describe exactly either A, what's going to happen, and frame by frame by frame, it happens just as you're describing, or B, you know exactly where you are in a very unfamiliar area, that to me is a parallel universe with a back shift in time hops. So kind of like the glitch in the Matrix, but just on speed. Anyway, let me know your take on deja vu. Be interested to hear stories. Thanks. See ya. Bye. So I want to talk about out-of-body experiences. So when I was 10 years old, I ended up in a coma. I had viral encephalitis from mosquito bites. So put me into a coma. I was paralyzed. And I lost my memory. And I had to learn to walk again. I don't remember much about what happened during that time frame. But I can tell you what I do know and do remember is sitting, or I'll say laying there. But I was actually in the bed. They were packing my body with ice to try to bring my temperature down. And I was watching everything happening, but I was up above. So I could, the first thing I remember seeing was the bright lights, the big round light of the emergency room, and all these doctors around. And then the next thing I know, I'm looking down. I'm looking down at myself, laying in the bed, and all of these doctors around. And one of the comments that they made was, she's not going to make it through the night. That was the one and only time I can recall a very clear out-of-body experience, because I saw everything that was happening and all the conversations that were taking place. I could repeat them word for word to my parents once I finally regained my memory and knew who they were. First thing I remember was phone numbers, but I didn't know the people that they belonged to, and I didn't know whose phone numbers they were, and I didn't know the people. When I left the hospital, I had part of my memory back, phone numbers, but I left the hospital with a complete stranger who just happened to be my mother, but I didn't know who she was because I still didn't have all of my memory back. With that, little bit of an explanation there, I would like to know, what kind of experiences you've had with out-of-body experiences. And I'm not talking about astral traveling where you are intentionally trying to leave your body and go somewhere. I'm talking about just by accident or by sickness or by injury or what have you, where you actually had an out-of-body experience and you watched someone, medical staff, whomever, work on you. So let me know. Be interested to hear your stories. See ya.